Inspirational talk. Everyday people. Inspirational talk. Intentional choices. Inspirational talk. Extraordinary outcomes. It's Inspirational Talk with Toneal. Now here's your host, international award-winning author and filmmaker, Toneal M. Jackson.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it may be when you are tuning in to this broadcast. I am your international award-winning author and filmmaker and empowerment specialist, Toneal M. Jackson, and I am coming to you guys with an all-new inspirational talk with Toneal. You all know that, again, what my name is Toneal, and I educate and empower personally, professionally, politically, socially, and spiritually. And so every day of the week, all of my shows, they kind of reflect that, right? So on Mondays, it's personal, where we're doing the self-care act. So those of you who are looking to figure out how to take better care of yourselves, you will want to tune in on Mondays. Tuesdays is professionally, with aspects of entrepreneurship. So those of you who are authors and or entrepreneurs, that's the day that you want to tune in. Wednesdays, we are empowering and educating you politically with It's Not Politics, It's Principles. And then today, we're giving you inspirational talk. So that could be a range of subjects, but it's going to always talk or touch upon the social aspects. And then Friday, we have Get in Alignment with Your Assignment, with it, which is purpose to empower you spiritually. Try saying all that real fast, y'all. Okay. So in either case, before we jump into today's show, I do want to do my due diligence, and I want to make sure that I encourage you guys to, number one, follow our protocols, which number one is to say hello. So if you say hello where you're watching, and I am streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and Wisdom simultaneously. So if you are watching from any of those platforms and you would like to say hello, please do so. Number two, like and share the video. Like and share the video, because at the end of the day, you all know that I am typically, my mission is to educate and empower. So the information that I bring to you is typically going to be in a way that you've never heard it before. And it's definitely going to be in a way that's going to educate and empower you on whatever that topic is. And then finally, number three, tag somebody. Tag somebody that you believe would benefit from today's broadcast. And so I typically try to do that as well. I like to tag people across the board. So whether it is on Instagram, as I am doing right now, whether it is on Facebook, I like to tag people to let people know what's going on. And so today's on today's show is going to be a few different things that I talk about in general, but I want to just make sure that you guys are tuned in and ready to be educated and empowered, because that's what we do. So y'all give me one quick second while I continue to tag a couple people and get some people to the show. Hold on one second. Alrighty. So today, what I wanted to talk about is I wanted to talk about what I deem as the Keith Lee effect. And so, a matter of fact, hold on, it's just okay. So, the Keith Lee effect, that's what I want to talk about today. For those of you who know about Keith Lee, you may know where I'm going with it. For those of you who have never heard of Keith Lee, what we ain't gonna do is become the real milk and honey. So I want to make sure that I give you guys context so that you know who I'm talking about, so that you can know what I'm talking about. So first of all, Keith Lee is a food critic, blogger, vlogger slash TikTok superstar. I mean, like this young man has over 14 million followers on TikTok. I think he has over 1 million followers on Instagram. And so the reason why, to me, he caught my eye is just because of how positive he is. Now, let me give a lot of disclosures and disclaimers. I had gotten wind of Keith Lee before the issues happened with Atlanta. So, like, before there became controversy, before there were people trying to talk about him in a negative light, I had gotten wind of what he was doing because I'm on TikTok. Again, you can follow me on any of the social medias: TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, Wisdom. You can find and follow me all those places at my name is Toneal. However, when I'm on TikTok, I'm kind of more so a scroller, right? So I'm that person who I'm on and I'm just seeing what's new. I don't follow a lot of people on TikTok, but there are a few people who inspire me or who make me laugh on TikTok. And so I came across Keith Lee because he inspired me. I also love Jimmy Darts. I came across him. He inspires me. And then there's another young man, I think his name is Jerron Devereaux. He makes me laugh. So, like, everybody has their own reasons for watching who it is that they watch or follow or what have you, right? And so, in either case, here's the point. When I was watching Keith Lee, what I saw that he did and that I really liked that made me continuously tune in is the fact that he's not just a blogger that, so he has all of this clout and he's not just using the clout for the sake of having the clout, right? So it's like most bloggers, you either people are paying you to do your job, or you are getting this special treatment because you are a blogger. So, hey, you can get a free whatever. So if you're a food blogger, you can get free food, or at least some type of special treatment with it. And that's with whatever industry. When people know that you are you specialize in that industry, and especially if you have the type of following that Keith Lee has, then you're going to get special treatment. Most bloggers, vloggers, celebrities, or whatever, they do it so that they can get, like, they're building their following so that they can get this privilege, this extra special treatment or whatever. And what really reached out to me was Keith Lee and how he chooses to use his celebrity. The fact of the matter is that he isn't one that really is focused on trying to get so many people's attention to fall all over himself. He's extremely humble, and he's a young man. He just turned 27, I think, last month in October. He just turned 27. And so here's the thing. This is the purpose that he uses his following for, his fan base for. So he goes as a food critic, he goes to different restaurants. He is out of Vegas. And so it started there. And so his belief is, okay, there are three reasons why a restaurant will suffer: either because of poor customer service, the food is not good, or people just don't know about them, right? So his whole thing was, well, you know what? Let me kind of do what I can do. If it's the latter, let me do what I can do to help solve that problem. So, hello, Miss Tanya. Thanks for tuning in. And so it's like, let me help solve that problem. So he did not become a blogger to shut people down, to embarrass businesses, to shine a dark or dim light. No, it was the exact opposite. If you are an entrepreneur, then you understand the struggle that marketing is, right? And not just the struggle that it is, but you understand the expense that comes along with marketing. Like, marketing is probably one of the most expensive categories that you have to allocate your funds to. If you are again a solopreneur, small business owner, and you're just just coming up, so you're a startup, you're just getting going, you want for people to know about you. Many people now understand the power that is social media, but the reality is that depending on what your business is, it's not always easy to use social media because it may not be feasible. You're in the restaurant business, you may be so busy trying to get all the food together and all of that stuff that you don't have the ability to incorporate social media. Let me say this, I probably will somehow intertwine this to a marketing lesson for the next aspects of entrepreneurship. So I don't want to get so ingrained with the marketing aspect in it now, because I will talk about marketing in more depth on Tuesdays, this coming Tuesdays, aspects of entrepreneurship. So if you are an entrepreneur or author, whatever, and you are struggling with marketing and you want to know how you can improve your marketing to get more exposure for your business, then definitely tune in on Tuesday, because I will talk about marketing in more detail. But the point is, so Keith comes and his whole point is really to try to help community based businesses, mom and pop shops, people who would not ordinarily be able to afford marketing, who would not, they're doing the best that they can do, but people just don't know about them. So his purpose is saying, hey, I'm going to go. I'm going to go there. And here's the thing that I love about him. He doesn't look for special treatment. Most of the time, he does not, when he goes to a restaurant, he does not even go into the restaurant. He will send his wife, his sister, various family members so that he can ensure that he's not going to get special treatment, because when he goes different places, he's like, most people don't know who my family members are, so they're not going to give them special treatment. If ever it looks like he's about to get special treatment, then he will leave the restaurant. They have shown different restaurants where that is what happened, and that's kind of where the negative publicity came with the Atlanta situation. And I'll go into that in a minute. So the point is, this is a young guy who on his own has built his own clout. Again, he has over 1 million followers on Instagram, over 14 million followers on Instagram, on TikTok. And what he simply does is he'll tell people, hey, if you want for me to come to your restaurant, then DM me, message me, send me an email, and we will come to your business, right? Now, obviously, it's only one of him and there's multiple businesses. So it's not like he can go everywhere where people are asking him to come. But the thing to highlight is the fact that people are asking him to come. It's not like he's simply going because he has nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. People are asking him to come, knowing full well what it is he does. Again, when he goes to a business, there are 3 things that he's looking at. He's looking at customer service. He's looking at the food itself, how well the food is. And he's looking to see whether or not, so is the food good, is the customer service good, or do you just suffer from lack of marketing? And so his whole thing is, if I go to a restaurant and if I'm eating and if I have a pleasant customer service experience, then that's not it. So they're not lacking. People are not coming because of how they interact. Because y'all all know, we done all been to places where the customer service, it is horrible. We've all had a stank encounter. That's the best way to put it. We've all had a stank encounter with a customer service rep who act like that, they were doing us a job because they showed up to work, right? Because they were doing us a favor because they showed up to work. We've all encountered that. We've all had it where people make us feel bad when we're asking a question. We're asking you guys for clarity, or we're asking you guys to do what your job is. And there have been unpleasant experiences. And so if that's what it is, he's going to call it out. He's going to say, hey, I went here and it was an unpleasant experience. He's going to let it be known. But say you got great customer service. Now he's looking at the food. Is the food itself good, right? Because again, if this is a restaurant, you want people to come. The whole your livelihood is based upon whether or not your food is good. And here's the other thing: he always leads with, "This is my experience. It's my experience. This is how I feel. This is what happened to me. You please go and get your own experience. Maybe your experience will be different than my experience. I'm simply sharing what my experience is." So we'll pause there to understand that sometimes in this society, we do understand the job of an influencer, but I think that it's also necessary to put in that just because an influencer has a particular experience, that does not mean that that is a end all be all, right? It doesn't mean that now you don't have to think for yourself or have your own experience. And so again, with Keith Lee, he does put it out there. He's like, "This is my experience, but you guys might have your own experience." Or even when he talks about the food, he doesn't just say, "Oh, this was good" or "This was nasty." He explains why to him it's good. What is it about the particular food that he's eating? What makes it good? He doesn't like textures. So if you're a person that likes texture, then there are foods that you might would like better than he would, than he does, because he doesn't like texture. If you don't like spicy, but he does like spicy, you see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, the whole point is you have to know what you like for yourself. Like, yes, it's always good to get somebody else's opinion, because you can say, "Hey, well, because I was thinking about it, but you just saved me some dollars. I don't want to go there." But his purpose when he's doing it is not to shut people down. He's simply trying to, his purpose, honestly, is to try to build the businesses up. But he's trying to come in to see, okay, well, what is it that's suffering? So if he eats, if he has a positive customer service interaction, he's like, "No, it ain't that." If the food is on point, he like, "No, it ain't that." So it gotta be the fact that people just don't know about this spot. So again, this is the reason why he's doing the live, because when he gets the food, so the bulk of the time he is eating from his car. So if you guys don't or have not already seen him, then you can go to TikTok and follow him. He's at Keith Lee. Um, but he sits in his car, again showing the humility. He's not trying for people to be all up on him, and this isn't, he's antisocial. It's the point that he does not want to be the star of the show. If he's in a restaurant, he wants the focus to be on that restaurant, on that owner, on that food, right? But here's the thing: so once he's eating the food, he lets you know, because he is an influencer, his hope is that if this is a mom and pop shop that nobody knows about, by the time I get done, somebody will know about them. Then their business won't have to shut down, right? And I was trying to get the video to work right, y'all, and I was having technical difficulties, which was one of the reasons why I came on a little bit late today. But I was trying to download so I could play for you guys the latest video that he did today. He uploaded, and again, I am not an avid follower, so it's not like I done seen however many thousands of videos he's done. I have just come into the knowledge of him within the last couple of months. So if when I'm on TikTok scrolling, I see a video, then I watch it. But he just posted a video 18 hours ago. It was a restaurant called Joy Burgers. I think it's in Vegas, because again, that's where he's from. And he said 18 hours ago, they had, no, sorry, 8 hours ago, they had, at 8 p.m., they had, I don't even remember how many followers. It was maybe like 60 some or 30 something. It was a very few amount of followers. Within, it was 4 p.m. when he was coming back, because he normally does like a 24-hour follow-up. Hadn't been 24 hours. They had over 62,000 followers, right? A young lady put in, and she said she did a video, and she was like, she called them, when they were about to open up. real pleasant customer service experience. However, they were like, okay, it was going to take a minute before they could get to her because they had literally just opened up and there were 25 to 30 people standing outside the door. Now, keep in mind, this is a place that was about to shut down. But after Keith Lee came, did his review, there were a couple other foodies, he said, that came there as well. But the point is, you had people rallying around a local business doing what they could do to keep that business going. And so that, I know it took a minute to get here, but I needed to build that up to really kind of talk about, hey, Miss Rochelle, I had to build that up to really kind of bring to you guys, this is the Keith Lee effect. You have somebody who is genuinely concerned about the welfare of various communities, not just his. He could simply use his clout to stay in Vegas where he's from. But what he has done, he's done a tour, a food tour. He went to Detroit, to Chicago, to Atlanta, where a whole lot of stuff got started. And I'll maybe talk about it, maybe. But the point is, his whole purpose is to try to help to not just encourage with words, but okay, I'm going to free of charge. I say that again, free of charge. I'm coming to your establishment. He's not asking for free food. Wherever he goes, he tells you what he bought. He tell you how much he paid for it, not because he's trying to shine a light on how much money he got, but to let you know, hey, if you go to this restaurant, this is how much money you should bring, right? So here's the thing. He goes to these restaurants, he buys food not just for himself, but for his entire family. So he could spend upwards of like $100 and something on a basic order. And many times he's going to also leave a tip. He's been known to tip thousands of dollars simply to, again, trying to help encourage. And once he leaves, because of the clout that he has, now these businesses are booming. There's a taco truck situation where the guy had just opened. He had been there for maybe 8 days. He was not even actually doing an official review for him, but he ended up, he's like, well, since I'm here, I might as well go ahead and do the review. They said that literally in the 8 days they were there, they had been doing $400 to $500 a day. They went from doing $400 to $500 a day to doing over $2,000 a day. Now, here's the point to all of my entrepreneurs: how beneficial would that be for you? If we are in the season of Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, Giving Tuesday, but how wonderful would it be if you were able to have somebody who for free would use their clout just to help your business because they believe in your brand, right? That's the Keith Lee effect. This is somebody who is extremely selfless, somebody who is taking his own money to come and be a blessing to somebody else's business, somebody who is using his clout to help to build your business. He's not getting commission from these businesses. Nobody is paying him for marketing services. He's simply doing it because he feels that this is the right thing to do. Now, when we talk about the Keith Lee effect, how awesome would that be? Like, you have so many people that put such clout in saying on Small Business Saturday, this one day out of 365, that I supported a small business this one day. And I've always said, you know what? I would much rather that you guys don't support me for that one day and do support me for the other 364, right? Because we have to understand that when you are a startup business, when you are a solopreneur, mom and pop shop, whatever you want to say, like, it already takes a lot to do what you do. And so you got to have people. It takes the dollars of other people to get your business going. And so a lot of people would say, well, you know what? I really would love to have a Keith Lee in my life. I would love for there to be a Keith Lee in my industry, somebody who, selflessly would just give because they know that it would help to benefit. But can I push your mind a little bit further than that? Because whereas it would be awesome, I don't know that there's any entrepreneur who would say, no, you don't have to try to help my business, right? Like we good. We don't need no extra business. We don't need no, I don't know any entrepreneurs that would turn it away. But let's push the envelope a little bit further. What if it's not just that we would like to be the benefactor of a Keith Lee, not just the recipient of what it is he's doing, but what about if you became the Keith Lee to the situation? If when you walked in the room, you were the blesser to somebody, because a lot of times we focus so much on what we don't have, on how much more we need to have. But what if you said, you know what, regardless of what I have or don't, whatever it is I do have, I want to be able to help somebody else that may not have as much as I do, right? Don't mean that you feel like you all that you better than somebody, but it's the point of realizing that I am blessed at whatever level. I'm blessed to be a blessing. I can take what I have. Now, here it is. I'm a mother of many, y'all, right? And I don't talk about this a lot, but I have two young girls that I sponsor and have been for a few years now, right? So there's one young girl, I think she just turned 8, and I'm so sorry that I don't remember her because I get their birthdays confused sometimes. But one of the young ladies, her name is Leonore, and she is out of Nicaragua. I know that much. And I know that I've been sponsoring her every month. I give a certain amount of money, and it doesn't matter how much it is, but I give every single month. And I've been doing this consistently for almost 3 years now, helping to help that situation, right? Being that sponsor so that she can have food, so that she can have her medical expenses covered. And then about a year after I've been sponsoring Leonore, then I was asked to sponsor another young lady, and her name is Alia, and I think she's a year younger than Leonore, so they're like 7 and 8, I believe. And Alia is out of Bali, Indonesia. And so a lot of times, you know, it we always think that we have to have so much. We feel like we have to be millionaires in order to be somebody else's Keith Lee. You don't have to be a millionaire. You just have to be able to you have to be willing to give of what you do have, right? I'm not saying give it to your detriment. I'm not saying, that you forget about everybody else that's in your circle or in your life that needs you. But I'm saying there are many of us that are able to bless somebody. And there are other ways that you can bless people. It's not always financial. You can help to build somebody's business, just say, by giving a positive review, by telling somebody else, giving a referral. Those are things that you could also do that cost you absolutely nothing. This is the season of giving now, right? And so I would just challenge all of you to not just wait until, Small Business Saturday to show love to your mom and pop shops, your small businesses, your solopreneurs, your startup businesses. But, even if you find one or two and say, hey, this is the business that I'm going to support. This is a business, and maybe you're not able to do it every day. Maybe you're not able to pour into them financially. Maybe you can't even do it once a month. But you know what? I'm going to make sure that if they're live, that I share their live. If I see a post, that I'm going to share their post. That I'm going to tell somebody else about them, right? And for those of you who feel like that is going to take away from you some type of way, if you help somebody else, that somehow is going to minimize your business to help maximize somebody else's. Again, I tell you, this gentleman, Keith Lee, has over 14 million TikTok followers. Not one time have he asked anybody, at least not the videos I've seen. He don't even say, hey, follow me, much less tell people support his business. His business It's supporting other people. That is what he does. And he is steadily being blessed. And the other thing that I love about it, as I bring this to a close, is throughout all of every time he has a video, at least at some point, most times at the end, he's going to say, God is amazing. It's so refreshing to see not just a young man, but a young Black man. And yes, I do have to make it this way, to have a young Black man to reference God in his videos every time, to make sure that he's keeping himself humble. Understand that, hey, the reason why I have what I have is because of God, and openly acknowledging that. See, so many times we have these influencers who don't mention God at all. We have these influencers who make it that it's all about them, that they're so wonderful, that they're so great. Please follow me. And his whole thing, the Keith Lee effect, is paying it forward, doing something nice for somebody else just because maybe they can't do it for themselves. And when you do right by people, you got to believe, whether you call yourself a believer or not. So whether you believe in reaping what you sow, whether you call it karma, whatever you want to call it, when you put out good, good will come back to you. Just like if you put out bad, bad will come back to you. And so, yeah, I encourage you guys. Yeah, it would be great to, I would love to be able to have, many people say that I would love to have Keith Lee come to my business. I'm not hating on you for feeling that way, but I do just want to also challenge you to think about how great it would be for you to be the Keith Lee for your industry. So, those of you, I'm in the literary world, and this is what I've been doing for over a decade. I give back, I pour into, I mentor. It's not that I'm the world's greatest author, not a best-selling author. I'm an award-winning author. I make best-selling authors, but I pour freely into other people, giving them what I've been able to have, to come across, the knowledge, the experience. I And again, please understand that just because I'm saying my name, I am not trying to hype myself up at all. I'm just trying to get you all to understand that. And thank you so much for saying that, Rochelle. It does not hurt you to help somebody else. Take that out your mind. It is not about, you don't have to compete with anybody. My friend Tavetta said that, she said, I don't even know how many years ago it was, she said, but it stuck with me. When you are complete, you don't have to compete. I don't care if you're an author and you're sitting next to another author. Our books are not the same. I don't even care if it's the same genre. Our books are not the same. So it's not going to hurt me to help promote you, and vice versa. If we could figure out how to come together, most of the time we're going to figure out how to go further and helping to preserve ourselves. If three people come together, then guess what? We get to individually, I'm exhausting myself because I got to have this much money to do, I got to have this budget to do this, I got to have this budget to do that, I got to have this budget. But if I team up with somebody, right? And I'm not trying to say that you have to lose your vision. This isn't me saying that, okay, because you're bringing in somebody else or you're going in to help somebody else, that it takes away from who you are. Rochelle says your light does not dim trying to help someone else shine. Absolutely. And I think that when we understand that we can indeed be better together. And those of you who watch me through APS, y'all know that it's APS's mantra. We are better together. We have to understand. Oh, that's good. And I'm going to let you have the last word on that. She says, people at the top don't compete, they collaborate. I love that. You ain't got to compete. Like it's enough for everybody out here to eat. And talking about Keith Lee making that brain ass around Robin, he is a food critic. So it's all of these different restaurants. He ain't just went to one restaurant. He ain't going to the restaurants that's already like got 50 billion chains. He's going to small mom and pop shops. People who may not be able to afford, they don't have that budget. But he's like, you know what? If I believe in you, then I got you. And sometimes, can I tell you something? Sometimes it don't even have to be a continuous thing, right? He ain't got to go to the same restaurant every day or every week. Now there might be some that I think he has visited more than once, and that's because he personally likes the food that's at that restaurant. But the point is, his effect is residual. The fact that he was there, it was residual. Do you understand that there are times when you can come in somebody's life and you can deposit into their life one time, and when you make that one deposit, that it lasts, the effects of it are ongoing. Now I'm gonna see if I can do this, y'all. I got somebody in queue on wisdom, so I'm hoping that they're gonna come in. And Jason, I'm gonna let you on, but I am going live on 2 or 3 different platforms. So I need you to make sure that you keep your question or comment to a short time frame, so that, well, when I say short, be concise with it, so that way I can have it heard clearly on all of the different platforms. So we're going to bring Jason to the microphone, and he's going to make his question or comment about the Keith Lee effect. How you doing, Jason? Uh-oh. Did we lose you, Jason? We had this happen. So for those of you who are on Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, I typically have Jason on the microphone.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Go ahead with your question or
Okay, sorry, I
comment.
think my headset wasn't working. No, I just want to, just backing what you said. That's why I come up anytime.
Okay.
And there's somebody that's open to it, either if they're kingdom or talking about entrepreneurship. Like, entrepreneurship is so hard, and I think where people lose is when they don't collaborate. I don't think, not only are you does it not take away, that is what takes away from your impact when you only work by yourself. I always, like, even wisdom, like, that's why I try to come up, because of course more people pay attention and get more out of it when somebody comes up. And I don't get people coming up on my thing, so that's why I come up on other people's things. But I hope other people can hear what you're saying. But one of the 7 habits of highly effective people is synergize. And I don't have a partner, so I'm not really able to do that. The only way I'm able to do that is go up on other people's things. But I just want to say, like, even more than what you're saying, that it doesn't, not that it doesn't take away, it adds when you collaborate. And that's why corporations are so much more effective, because they're using a lot of other people's skills and not just one person. So it always benefits, unless the person is like, totally misaligned, not aligned with your principles. But I'm a kingdom person too. So that's good. That's a good testimony. I think, it's very scriptural, right? Like, give and it'll be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together. So yeah, God takes care of us. And if you take care of other people, expose other people, it gives you more bandwidth. So yeah, keep up the good work out. I won't take up so long, because you're kind of saying you don't want it to take too long.
Well, thank you so much for coming to the microphone, Jason. And again, for those of you who are not on Wisdom, do know that Wisdom is another platform. It is a podcasting platform, and I am typically on Wisdom. And I want to thank everybody who's tuning in from Wisdom. And Jason is a faithful listener, and that is a platform where people, again, it's an audible platform only, but those who are listening have the opportunity to interact by coming to the microphone. And so, Jason, I do want to thank you for taking the time to come and share that wisdom and that information that he gave. Again, for those of you who are watching and listening, on Tuesday, when I educate and empower professionally, when I come to the show with aspects of entrepreneurship, we're going to be talking about marketing and different, more effective ways of marketing. This past Tuesday, I talked about effective networking, right? So we're going to talk about effective marketing, and it's not happenstance that I'm talking about these things at the end of the year, right? In fact, it's purposeful and it's intentional because number one, I don't want you all to give up, to feel like, okay, because it's the end of the year, I might as well just let go. For those of you who are ready to throw in the towel and end your year now, at the very least, start prepping for 2024. Like there is still quarter four. Q4 is the biggest quarter for many businesses, but if your business is not one that is able, you have not been able to figure out how to make your business one that's able to benefit from quarter four, and you're like, okay, well, my quarter ends after the third quarter, that's fine, but still use this quarter to start preparing for first quarter 2024. And so that's the reason why I am finishing this these last 2 months out strong, giving you guys some great tips that you can use now. You can start using them now. I don't just say, hey, if you want this information, then you need to join my organization. Like, obviously, you would get more. Or, hey, if you want for me to write out the plan, then hire me as your coach. That's an option as well. But just by listening to my show, and I've always done this, I've been going live, I think, like 6 or 7 years now. And whenever I go on live, what I typically do, I'm not a fluffer. I'm not going to just talk just to hear myself talk. I'm going to always give some meaningful, some substance, right? Some meaningful information, some substance, something that you can use right now, no matter what the topic is, to help you get better, because that's what it is that I do. But I am basically done for today. I just want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Toneal. I educate and empower personally, professionally, politically, socially, and spiritually. So today we were educating and empowering you socially, talking about the Keith Lee effect. If you guys don't already follow him, and again, I'm not an affiliate. I don't even know that Keith Lee knows that I exist. But when you see something good, then you should be able to say something. So many times we only want to see something, say something when it's negative, when it's going to keep up some negative energy. But again, I encourage you heavy to find the good out of whatever the situation is, because that positive energy will take you a whole lot further. So join me tomorrow for our newest segment, Get in Alignment with Your Assignment. So for those of you who are looking for purpose, you're trying to figure out more about, the direction your life should be going in, then again, that's what this whole segment, Get in Alignment with Your Assignment, is all about. But I want to thank everybody who tuned in, whether you tuned in on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or even Wisdom. Thank you all so much. And if you want to connect with me, you can find and follow me across all of those platforms at My Name is Toneal. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And until next time, you all stay inspired.